Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 84 of Those Muckrakers. I'm Pete.
And I'm Pat.
And, goddamn, it has been a long time since we've done a episode where I'm just tired and angry and don't want to do anything.
Yeah, it's also been a long time since we've done an episode where I just don't have any notes and really don't have that much to talk about. So this is going to be a delight for everyone that's here, just like ready to go and like hear us do a podcast, which we will pound out, and it'll be great and exciting and energetic.
Well, today, and I guess we'll start with a Dear Wesley.
We're still doing Dear Wesleys.
Oh, yeah. This one's entitled, Dear Wesley, husband won't defend wife from shunning by his family. Well, I'm a 47-year-old woman, married to the love of my life for 7 years ago.
I can't believe I've known you for this long and didn't know that about you.
Well, 3 years ago, my husband's cousin and her mother told him they didn't like me and didn't want me around, but I only found out about it 2 years ago. I feel humiliated and it's uncomfortable for me to be around any of them now. I don't get invited most of the time, and that's okay with my husband. I want him to address and resolve it, but he hasn't and won't. In addition, we have had some major marital issues. I want him to stand up for me and for us and for our marriage. I haven't done anything wrong, but I feel like I'm being punished because he won't take a stand. He and his family have swept the whole thing under the rug for so long, neither of us knows exactly what to do next. Please kindly advise. Get it? I say get a divorce.
So, I mean, screw it. It's over. Next.
Well,
no, I mean, I don't know. I need more details than that. It's it's not giving me too much to go on here.
Well, anytime someone's like, and I've done nothing wrong, I'm like, yeah, but people generally don't shun you just because. That's a pretty extreme reaction. You're probably really annoying.
She's, that could be it, but I don't know.
Well, I mean, also she's demanding her husband resolve it instead of just talking to the family herself, you know?
There is that too, but I mean, I understand it could be awkward talking to someone else's family, but they've been married for how long now?
7 years, so they're technically your family. Talk to them, bitch.
Yeah, they're your family too. Just go have at it. Maybe the reason they don't like you is because you never talk to them. Maybe
they're writing a letter right now going, Dear Wesley, my sister-in-law has shunned me for 3 years. I don't know. I think getting shunned by your family's fine. I'm fine with that. Like, you know, I think that's good. Especially your in-law family, not even your real family, but like your annoying family.
Yeah. So, I actually can't imagine a better situation than a significant other's family just wanting nothing to do with me, because that sounds like a perfect matrimony right there, doesn't it? Like, that's an ideal setup. You don't have to meet new people that you're not going to like. I mean, I don't like my current family get-togethers because I don't really know anyone. We don't have anything in common. It's super awkward. Now, do that again, but with 1 degree of separation where I'm just marrying into a family, and now I have to hang out with these people, and they all want to talk to me and be like, oh, what do you do for a living? I see. My son had that position a long time ago when he was still coming up in the world. And I'll be like, yeah.
What are you marrying into, like a Charles Dickens family?
Yes. That's what I see.
Yeah, fucking, I don't know, man. Like, a lot of these things we read are people that are obsessed with their family, and they're like, I want to spend more time with my family, but I'm like, I don't know, maybe maybe I'm not family oriented, but I'm just like, yeah, I could take it or leave it.
Yeah. If they want nothing to do with me, then fantastic. That gives me my Saturdays back.
Exactly. But it's also like her putting it all on her husband too. Like, I can already see why they don't like you, lady. You're a bit much, and we've only read a Dear Wesley about you.
Yeah. What would Wesley's advice about all this be, do you reckon?
Probably sit down and make him some pizza bread. Oh.
Wesley sent us a video this week of him making pizza bread, and it was so much more delightful than I realized it was going to be, because in the most sensual voice any of our listeners could possibly imagine, Wesley explained the process of, then you take the bread and you put it down. And then you spread the ketchup on it. A name brandless ketchup.
If you haven't, if this is your first episode, we have a friend named Wesley who makes poverty food that we realized that we or at least Pat used to eat with him back in the day. And it's one of those
Yeah.
weird things about growing up. You're like, "Hi, y'all. Remember when we used to eat dust and biscuits?" And then you get older and you go, "Oh, that's because we were like uncomfortably poor." Yeah.
But Wesley still makes that kind of food. Pizza bread is just like bread with ketchup on it and a slice of cheese over it, and you microwave it for a bit. I remember him always doing it in the oven, but nowadays he microwaves it.
No,
But yeah,
he
sent
just
us
he just put ketchup on bread, right? Wasn't it the original thing?
I think so. Yeah, but this is like fancy pizza bread because it had cheese and pepperoni on it and Mrs. Dash. So the Mrs. Dash was weird. That threw me off. It's like that's for okay, all right then. That's okay. But
Well,
yeah,
and
that's why it was the ultimate pizza bread, as he called it. This pizza bread is very good.
Well, you ready to get into everything is killing us news?
Hell yeah. What's killing us this week, Pat? I mean,
Oh.
Pete.
Go ahead and just do the podcast yourself at this point. You're already ready for it.
No, I'm going to go take a nap. Let me know when it's over.
Apparently, using mouthwash after exercising could negatively impact the cardiovascular benefits.
Who uses mouthwash after exercising? What are you exercising?
Well, the study found that apparently, I guess, using mouthwash after working out has what do you call it? Instead of reducing blood pressure, it cancels out the benefits.
What?
Yeah.
Well, when did this fad start? I've never heard of this, using mouthwash after exercising.
I guess people exercise, then hit the shower and brush their teeth and use mouthwash.
Oh, huh.
Basically, it raises your blood pressure. So
The shower makes sense, but brushing my teeth is still like something I think of as separately from bathing, right? Like that's something you do after meals, unless you're like eating pudding while working out.
Well, actually, my good friend, you're not supposed to brush after meals. You're supposed to brush before because the acidity of your food and drink, combined with vigorous brushing after meals, will destroy your tooth enamel.
Okay. Huh. The more you know.
Yep. Da-da-da-da. Anyway, mouthwash is historically bad for you anyway. It kills all the good bacteria in your mouth, dries out your gums, and now it raises your blood pressure. Fuck you, Listerine.
That's, yeah. How did those old commercials used to go?
I don't know, some spooky dude would be talking about halitosis.
Maybe. Anyway, yep. All right. I guess we're done with Listerine then. If you have it, dump it out.
I've been done with this. Well, if you have it, keep it in the closet in case you need to get drunk and you're out of booze.
That's true. I have like a bottle of it next to the sink, but I haven't used it in forever. So it's kind of covered in dust and gross at this point. I should probably throw it out, but I don't want to touch it.
Because it's
Anyway.
got dust on it. Yeah, you're slowly becoming Howard Hughes. You know that?
I guess. Also, it's just good room garnish because it's like a nice green, so it kind of provides decoration.
So then you should just get like some nice like glass bottles and pour it in that so it looks cool. So you don't have just an old gross Listerine thing hanging out.
I
So
can, but then wouldn't that be weird if someone just like walked into my bathroom and saw bottles, glass bottles full of Listerine everywhere?
Well, A, they wouldn't know it was Listerine. B, if you decorated your bathroom correctly, no, it wouldn't be weird. I think what's more weird is they walk in and it looks like a construction worker's bathroom in there.
Maybe.
It looks like some big Brooklyn construction workers. They just like that's been their bathroom for the last 10 years.
Right. Well, I mean, I've been working on that. It's at least 90% closer to being 10% better.
So something happened to me the other day, and I'm still reeling from this.
Yeah?
I was listening to Lumpy Sean Hannity, and I was agreeing with everything he said during this segment, and I did not like that.
Are you sure you were agreeing with him? Maybe you just had a concussion.
No, because he was attacking somebody that I hate too.
Okay.
And then it made me sad because I thought, me and Sean Hannity could agree on something only when he's using it as part of his thing to shill for the corporate overlords on the right.
Yeah.
He was attacking NYC Mayor Bill DeBlasio, who is a bullshit artist. Like, he's a bullshit mayor. I think we talked about this. Did you hear what happened when he went to Iowa to like check on a presidential run?
Oh, no, what happened?
Bill de Blasio goes to Iowa, and then a bunch of New Yorkers take time off their jobs, fly out to Iowa to follow him to tell him how much he sucks.
Yeah, we did talk about that. I remember it
Yeah.
now.
But he was on Fox News, I guess, and like, who's the white supremacist on Fox News with the bad hair that like always tries to say he's not a white supremacist?
Almost all of them.
Well, I always my mind keeps wanting to say Shep Smith. It's not Shep Smith. It's the other guy though
Oh,
that they love.
the-
Tucker
Tucker
Carlson. Yeah.
Carlson.
Yeah, he's just grilling de Blasio. He's like, you drive an SUV, you have a security team. They're not going to give up their guns, but you want people to give up their guns? You want, like, it's this whole thing. And it's dumb arguments that, like, you know, he's putting that kind of argument is just like he puts de Blasio in a box and then puts him on the defensive. But what's irritating is de Blasio, A, is either not smart enough or doesn't care enough to craft a well thought out argument. He's just like, we need to ban assault style rifles.
I mean, Fox News doesn't generally get, like, intelligent liberals to go on their show because they want it to be someone they can easily shout down.
Yeah. Well, the problem with any of a lot of this gun control stuff, you know, because we just had, I think since last episode, we've had like 30 more shootings. The problem with the gun control is people are just yelling out slogans. Like, you know, if you look at what's classified as an assault style weapon, it doesn't actually address the problems of mass shootings. A lot of them are done, like, I think Virginia Tech was done with pistols, you know?
Maybe, but I mean, God, what's it called? The something AR-15 has been used for a whole lot of shootings lately.
Right,
Hold
but
on.
the problem
on our Muckrakers site, I did like a long list of them recently. I can pull that up and.
Well, the problem is it's not just it's not assault style weapons. That's kind of a meaningless label. If you really want to make people safer, you need reasonable gun legislation. Background checks won't fix it all because some of these people have no prior history. Some of them do, some of them don't, so that won't stop all the shootings, but that'll help. But then also nobody's doing research into the guns themselves. You know why the AR-15 is such a deadly gun in these mass shootings? Because of the muzzle. It's the muzzle velocity. It's the speed and the velocity at which the bullet leaves the muzzle that does a lot more damage than other similar guns. So really, maybe they should look at, which guns do the most damage, and then also ban full auto. That's easy, right?
Here's what we do: we ban AR-15s, and then we start working on what all other guns we can ban. Okay, I found the list. This is not an exhaustive list, but it's just like some of the highest profile AR-15 mass shootings. Sandy Hook, Las Vegas, Parkland, Orlando, Odessa, Aurora, Pittsburgh Synagogue, Sutherland Springs, San Bernardino, and Waffle House. And that's just within the past couple years. Or past 1 year?
Yeah, so the problem is, like,
besides Sandy Hook, that one was a while back, but
it's the way, like, nobody's thinking about smart ways to group weapons and, like, how which weapons should be more restricted than others. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Because that's what bothers me about, like, the right's got their, like, they're gonna take our guns, and the left is like, we need to ban long rifles.
Right. There's no nuance to the arguments, but the problem is that what we need to do is get people who want to do something about guns in a position of power, and then they can start doing nuance, right? Like,
but I don't think, they don't want to do nuance, though. I think they
they will do nuance once they have the ability to do it, right?
I don't think so.
Can't do anything.
I don't think so.
They can't do anything. The conservatives certainly aren't going to do it.
I don't think that
they're just going to keep pushing for guns forever.
I don't think that the de Blasio and the Pelosi's want to do anything about it. I think they just
I don't think those two do. Certainly not. But
I think they just like yelling assault rifles or long guns. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just buzzwords that can scare people into whipping up and showing up to vote.
Because it's like, I don't know if the media doesn't know anything about guns at all, or if it's just one of those weird, like, before, like, the broadcast starts, you just got like long gun. He was shot with a long gun. He was shot with an assault rifle. Like, just like feeling out the words. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like if we're like warming up for a podcast, I'm like, okay, Peter, lemon face. Ooh, lion face. Ah, lemon face. Ooh. We're just
they're
like to go.
Which word is scary for people? A bazooka. Hey, could this be considered a bazooka? And they're like, I don't know. Why not? Today a man took out a bazooka-style gun, and you're like, It irritates me.
Peter, bazookas don't kill people. People kill people, okay? If I wanted to, I could pick up that alarm clock over there and kill just as many people as I could with a bazooka. So, I should be able to own a bazooka is what I'm saying.
I just think that in a very fucked up way, I think that if you're going to go out and kill a bunch of people, you should have to earn it. I don't think people with guns are earning that kill.
I agree. You know what? That's been something that's been bothering me forever. Whenever people say, you could kill a lot of people with a knife. Yeah, with like 20 years of training, like you have to actually be in shape. You actually have to know what you're doing. You have to learn what vitals are.
That or you have to just go to a kindergarten class and start spinning around.
I mean, that could work too, but even
then... like a dude did that in China, right? He just like went to a kindergarten class and was just like...
With a knife.
Well, yeah. But,
yeah, and there were, was it 1 or 0 deaths? Like, even with that many tiny little bodies to stab, he didn't kill as many people as someone with AR-15 just waving it in front of a crowd.
Listen, I just want to know that if I'm out in public and I get killed in like a mass murder kind of thing, that like the person that killed me really had to try hard to get me. You know what I mean? Like he had to train on the archery range. He had to be good with a knife. Like he had to get me with a rock.
If I'm out walking at night and someone comes up to me and is like, give me your money, and they draw a gun, I'd be like, oh, fuck. If they came up to me and said, give me your wallet, and they draw a knife, I'd be like, oh, no, I'm going to try to run first, okay?
Oh, yeah. I'm not even going to say that. If someone pulled a knife and was like, give me your money, I would just be like, meep, meep, and then fucking gone. Because I've been on this, I don't know if we talked about it, but I've been on this workout regimen. I'm about halfway through. And you know what's really horrible about dragging yourself through a workout regimen?
What's that? Your
brain stays lazy, but your body responds. So even on the days I don't want to do the workout, like I'm in way better shape. So I'm like if someone pulls a knife on me and I'm like, I don't want to do this, my body's going to be like, feet don't fail me now. Like I'm gone. Like there's no, unless he's also been doing the workout, there's no way he's going to catch me.
He pulls a knife on me and I'll be like, sir, he's like, he pulls a knife and he's like, show me your wallet. And I'm like, show me a gun.
I'd be like, show me some other means of taking my way. Goodbye. But my point is like, it's the same way that I feel that like everyone's like, we got to get the Democrats in office and I think what they're going to do is they're going to get, Trump. If Trump loses the presidency, we get a Democrat, and then they all just go, ooh, I like all this NRA money.
It's possible, but here's the thing. Before Trump, we had real scientists.
That's true.
We had real people who were smart, educated, accredited, peer-reviewed. We had a staff. We weren't being run by a skeleton crew. Right now, he has literally put people that worked at oil companies and Wall Street in charge of everything. Well, this is astronomically worse than anything any liberal's ever done before. And that's part of the problem with nuance. Like, I'm trying to explain a nuanced issue, and you just, you're trying to like get back to buzzwords as quickly as possible.
Bazooka.
Because that's more fun.
Bazooka. Long gun.
Because nuance is boring. I mean, I get it, but...
No, I don't think nuance is boring. I just don't think the establishment Democrats, they would, like a fucking, a dead parakeet could run the government better than it's being run right now. But,
It'd have a bigger staff if it was a dead parakeet.
I guess I want a better savior than what our, this is such a sad, like, this is what we got versus like, but at least this other thing wouldn't be so terrible. I'm like, yeah, but why does that other thing still have to suck and keep saying the word long gun over and over,
Yeah. But I mean, that's why it was always like a douche versus a giant turd in the past. Yeah. But right now it's, I forget which one. I think turd sandwich is what the Democrats are supposed to be, but it's not a turd sandwich versus a douche. It's a turd sandwich versus the fucking apocalypse. So it's like, well, let's make sure we don't all die. And then we can worry about nuance later.
I was talking to somebody about this the other day, but there was a really good article I read on President Benjamin, was it Benjamin Henry Harrison? The guy that was the shortest serving president because he was crazy and gave a 2-hour inaugural speech in the snow with no clothes, or not no clothes on, with just short sleeves.
I just showed up naked in the snow. Everyone! Nothing to feel but my balls sucking up inside of me.
Either way, he ended up getting pneumonia and dying. But he won the presidency for the same reason I think that Trump gains popularity. And this story was an interesting insight. So Harrison won the presidency because his opponents tried to label him like a yokel and a hayseed. And
Okay.
Americans love that because they're like, hey, man, he's just like you and me. I'm a fucking hayseed. So, like, the more they tried to feather him as just like this dumb guy, the more people loved him. And I think that had we painted Trump as just like a rich Hollywood elite instead of a dumb guy, that like maybe it would have eroded his support faster.
Maybe. I mean, because here's the problem with calling people dumb is that we already called George W. Bush dumb, and he didn't do a great job. He tanked the economy, and he got us into wars that we're still in to this day.
Forever
And
war.
we had the biggest terrorist attack on American soil ever foreign terrorist attack under his watch. But despite all that, he is still miles ahead of Trump, and he's certainly significantly smarter than Trump. It's not even close. It's not even comparable. But because we already used up the word dumb on Bush, we don't have that word anymore for Trump. And we cannot properly express to people what a profoundly stupid person this guy is. Like, people who knew him have said it best. No matter how bad you think Donald Trump is at any given thing, he is, in fact, much, much worse at that thing. And he also is a petty narcissist who can't let certain things go. Like if he misspeaks and says a hurricane's headed to Alabama,
he won't let it go, yeah.
He will
Like,
not let it go.
He won't move on.
He used a Sharpie to draw on a map, which he then aired on TV to try and show people, look, folks, Hurricane Dorian is headed to Alabama, and I'm the only one who has Alabama's back, okay?
I think,
can't just
honestly,
admit that he was wrong.
Here's my prediction, and I don't think he'll get impeached, and I think he'll serve another term. But if he does get impeached, I'm willing to lay money down that it'll be something like that map that is what he gets impeached over. I know it seems crazy, but it'll be some weird little thing that just like it clicks in like Congress's brain that like, oh, he is absolutely fucking crazy, and there'll be something like that if he gets impeached that will be his impeach moment. You know what I mean? And of course, everyone will be like, oh, it's cereal box gate. Like day 3, like, you know, because they like to put gate on everything now. But yeah, some weird fucking thing that he does will just one day it's like the way that people have been married for 20 years and one day they see the way that like their husband maybe like, you know, eats spaghetti, and it's just like, and that's when I knew I didn't love him. And in fact, I wanted him to die.
So
yeah, I think there'll be
some shovel in the backyard.
Yeah, there'll be some weird thing, and then like you'll have enough Republicans peel off to be like, we got to beat him to death with a shovel in the backyard. This cannot continue.
And when I first showed my husband the shovel, he was like, I'm sorry, can I see a gun? But little did he realize I had been doing insanity workout too.
Couldn't get away. So, let's go into our second Dear Wesley, if you'd like.
Let us roll.
Dear Wesley, smart home turns husband into big brother. Though that's kinky off the bat.
Oh, yes?
Well, because it turned husband into big brother?
Yeah. That's like one of the most popular search results on Pornhub.
Husband to big brother.
Yeah.
Dear Wesley, in this age of smart homes where everything can be synced up by an app with notifications, are we wrong to feel a loss of privacy? You are wrong, I think, because you can just delete the app and not buy the fucking devices. That's on you.
Yeah. Like, y'all chose to put it. It's like saying, oh, you know, we put a bunch of creepy dolls in our house and now it feels like eyes are always on us. Isn't it just a shame that that's how things are today? No, you put them there.
So the world's coming to, you know, we're all in the pocket of a big creepy doll.
Yep.
So I work from home. So I am mainly at home during the day. Yeah, well, that's what work from home means, you dumbass.
Yeah.
So my husband gets alerts every time the front door is opened. If a package is delivered, he receives an image of the package. He can track the electricity usage from our solar production. He can turn off the lights and open the skylight from his phone. Well, I don't see why that would be necessary, but All right. Today he texted me that I shouldn't be running the dryer during certain peak hours. He then shut it off remotely. I have nothing to hide.
I would delete the app immediately.
Oh, I would delete the app and I would delete my marriage. I have nothing to hide, but am increasingly annoyed at my own actions are being tracked. He's micromanaging me from afar. How should I handle this?
Holy shit!
Again,
I like this one. I like this story so much better than the last one. I have an opinion about this one.
I keep my same opinion. Divorce his ass. Dude, I'm sorry. That makes me so angry. If I've got something in the dryer and you remotely turn the dryer off, my wet clothes are going to sour. Like I need them dried so I can fold them. I have a plan.
Yeah. So, okay, so the app's on his phone, so she probably can't delete it till he gets back. But you can take your wet clothes out of the dryer and just throw it all over his stuff and say it's just going to dry there.
I think I would just
whenever he gets home,
I would keep restarting the dryer. Oh, I bet you could just unplug the router.
Oh, that is a good idea. I still want to cover his shit in my wet clothes because that would be funny. But okay, if you really want to salvage your clothes, if they're your favorite stuff, then pick out a few articles that you don't like, throw it on his TV or his Xbox or something that would ruin, and then just keep restarting it for the rest while unplugging the router so that you can finish drying your good stuff. And then whenever he gets home, delete the app off his phone and say we're not doing this shit anymore.
Yeah, that seems insane that someone would be like, hey, Also, what does he do where he's at work just watching his electricity usage?
Yeah, I mean, is the electricity bill really that bad?
They have solar panels, so it can't be.
Oh, you're right. I didn't even think about that.
So it's not even...
No, darling, the sun's too hot right now. You got to watch it at a different hour.
The sun is fucking free. Yeah, oh, fuck that, dude. Ooh... I don't know why that makes me so angry, but oh man, I would fuck his life up. I would immediately unplug all of the, because I would assume that if you unplug the Wi-Fi, he loses access to everything except for maybe the electricity usage meter. You know, I'm sure that's a digital meter, so unless you unplug all but yeah, he wouldn't be able to see any of the other devices if they have no fucking internet.
Right. So, yeah. Or if he insists, if he keeps hooking it all back up, I would make sure I have the app on my phone. And just whenever he's home one day, I just randomly start opening windows, ringing the doorbell, opening the skylight, just fucking with him nonstop, like in the movie Poltergeist.
I'd get some friends and we would just stage an abduction and a murder while he watched from work. You know
that would be amazing. Yes.
Just some dude in a ski mask runs up and kicks the door open, and then just me struggling and screaming as I'm dragged out into a car. And then I would do that at least once a month until he stopped fucking around.
Do that, and then at the very end of it, unplug the Wi-Fi from a blind spot so he can't see it. Then get back into the house, set everything back up so the police are called, right? He calls the police saying, my wife's been kidnapped. I just saw it happen. The police get there, and then you're just sitting on the couch, and you're like, no, none of that happened. I don't know what you're talking about. No one came here. Look, the door's fine. Everything's fine. I would gaslight him, yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't even...
I would stage it and then reset so that he just called the police for no reason, and then everyone looks at him like he's crazy.
I don't even like the term gaslighting. I like the cartoon singing frog? The WB frog?
Yeah, I would singing frog him.
Yeah, exactly, where he'd be like, I swear to God, the frog sings. And they're like, sir... When's the last time you had a mental health check? But no, seriously, he was singing, hello, my darling, hello, my... God damn it, yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Baby, hello, my darling, hello, my ragtime gal.
If we could get him, basically classified as insane and, what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? Committed. I would be happy with that because nobody fucks with my laundry.
Yeah. And so I would commit his ass to a straitjacket.
Nice. And then when he's totally crazy and he's in a mental institution and he's had a complete breakdown, you just go visit him, and when nobody else is around to hear it, you can just be like, I faked the whole thing. That'll teach you to fuck with my laundry. And then just walk away and live your life.
I'm picturing having a little sliding thing that you can slide up to talk to the person in the room. You slide it up and then you're just standing there like Jigsaw as you say, game over, then slam it down and walk off.
Game over, bitch. Yeah. No, I like that. That's, God, what a fucking psycho.
So, to answer the Dear Amy, that is our advice.
Oh, it's a Dear Wesley. Oh, what you should do is you should do your laundry with a little bit of mustard, cause I feel like Wesley would give laundry tips.
What you gotta do is just give all your laundry to your mom, and then she'll go down to the local laundromat, unless it's Saturdays, because Mom's always telling me that there's too many Mexicans there on Saturday. Oh.
So I guess in the big news for today that we haven't covered is everybody's being murdered by hurricanes.
Yeah. I mean, kind of. This has been the best hurricane ever for me, though, because everything's been like canceled and shut down this entire week, and it never brushed me. Like where I live in Georgia was in the path, but we ended up getting like 5 minutes of rain one day and a bit of windy weather.
Well, there's a couple things I didn't like about this. Number one, a bunch of people were putting up like really funny memes about Hurricane Dorian being super slow and this, that, and the other, right?
Well, yeah, at one point, I think it upgraded to a Category 4, and it just sat on the Bahamas for
That's what I was going to
going
say.
1 mile an hour.
So that's what
Just
bothered me is everyone's like, well, I guess it's going to take forever. And I'm like, you do realize that this superstorm is sitting over a populated island just murdering people right now, right? Like,
Yeah,
it's just paused over people destroying their houses. And you're like, well, I guess it's going to take forever to get here. Oh, you're so bad. That's funny. Yeah, it's killing people right now.
Yeah, and I got tricked at one point in our group conversation because let's see, you had posted something about school pizzas, and I did like a joke about it, and then you responded, damn it, I thought you were serious for a second, and so I typed LOL exclamation mark all caps. I go to hit enter, and then Wesley posts about the hurricane sitting on top of the Bahamas, and that pops up there. And then as soon as hurricane on top of the Bahamas slaughtering people goes up, my LOL pops up right below it, and I'm like, son of a bitch.
Well, I think in 2019...
And then I have to like quickly explain, no, I'm laughing at Peter and the pizza.
No, I think that makes sense. In 2019, you can follow a thread and realize, oh, they're laughing at the other thing. Unless you're like a baby boomer and you're like, why is he laughing at the Bahamas? I can't. Everything in a conversation via text, the next thing texted must correspond to the thing before it.
Yep.
But yeah, so they're fucking devastated, which is terrible. Like, just the whole places on the island are just fucking gone.
Yeah.
The weird thing I don't understand. I saw some videos from like the Bahamas, and I've seen these other places. So when floods hit, people are always getting trapped in their attic. And I don't understand what makes people be like, I know what room is safe. A room where there's only one exit in the floor where the water's coming from. Let's go to the attic. I mean, I guess you're trying to get away from the floodwaters, but it's
you're going up as the water goes up, but you kind of trap yourself there.
Yeah, but it's like at the very least, plan to cut a hole in your roof. Or don't go in the attic. Go anywhere else. Like I'd rather get swept away by floodwaters and take my chance than like drown in my own attic. Yeah,
in New Orleans, people managed to work their way to their roofs, but I think that's because their attics were already flooded at that point. Now that I think about it,
but I mean, I don't want to blame anybody for anything they do during a hurricane because it's terrible. So like,
I'm just thinking about the attic in the house that I grew up at, and I was just thinking that would be the most unpleasant thing ever because there was no AC up there.
Yeah.
It was dusty. It had that stuff. What is it called? Fiberglass? Just
fiberglass,
like padded,
fiberglass insulation. Yeah.
Yeah, padded everywhere. So I would be itchy. There's nowhere to sit. You have to walk on certain boards, and my parents showed me like early on. It's like walk on these boards, not on these. Those will fall through the roof. And that would just be the worst place to have to be for any amount of time.
Yeah, like I don't know what I would do I guess if I was in a hurricane, I would just hang out somewhere and try not to die of a flood. I don't know. I guess if it was going to flood, I'd have a boat handy. I'd find a way to get a boat or some kind of inflatable.
Yeah, that does sound like something you would have, just a boat hanging around.
Well, I mean, like, I did, like, once travel from one island to another using nothing but a kiddie pool and a little floaty thing.
I remember that. That was amazing.
Yeah, that was fun. Also, probably way more dangerous than I realized.
Yeah. I mean, it sounded dangerous when you told me about it.
Because people
But,
were
I
like,
mean,
people were
that's-
just coming by in boats going, "Are y'all okay?" And we're like, "Yeah, we're just swimming from one island to another in the ocean with a
Are y'all doing that on purpose?
Yeah, with
Oh, God.
an inflatable kiddie pool." Yup. But yeah,
The math must be good where you get it.
so the hurricane's killing people, which is unfortunate. Like, and the thing is, we're gonna have more of these. Like,
Yeah, this is just Hurricane 1 of hurricane season. We are going to get pummeled this year. It is going to be the worst.
I just moved down by the ocean in my new apartment, and I'm gonna be very upset if my apartment building blows away.
I don't think that New York gets that many hurricanes, do they?
They had Superstorm Sandy a few years ago, and that was a minor storm, and it fucked the city up. Because remember, we're a collection of islands surrounded by saltwater, and saltwater ruins everything that make these islands inhabitable.
Well, I mean, where I'm at is Georgia, and we have been getting so many hurricanes lately. Because I remember growing up, hurricanes would always miss Georgia. That was always the running gag, that it would hit Florida, bounce off, go up to the Carolinas, and then just sort of scootaloo off to wherever it's going.
Right.
That the joke was always, I remember being back in elementary school saying, "Oh, another giant hurricane's coming. Who cares? It won't hit Georgia." They never hit Georgia. Last 3 years, they have just been pounding the hell out of Georgia. Like,
Well,
Matthew, Irma.
Well, it used
all
to be. It used to be because Georgia's coast is kind of like a bowl, and what would happen was the way the hurricane was turning, it would hit that bowl and spin on up into the Carolinas and miss Georgia. But as the hurricanes get bigger and get worse because of climate change, you're going to see just areas. I'm interested to see how humans are going to adapt. So if you live in an area that has been devastated by a hurricane 3 years in a row, do you still live there? Do you rebuild in such a way that it's hurricane proof? Like, what do you do?
I mean, I know it's kind of human nature to just think quarterly because that's how businesses think, and businesses control how most people in America in particular think these days. Because, I mean, they control
Well, if you built
commercials, they control people's cognition of reality for the most part. So because they only think quarterly, I think people only think quarterly, so they just don't plan past the next
If you built a house out of just like solid concrete, that would be flood proof and hurricane proof, right? Just like a one-story concrete house.
I don't know.
And then you could just keep coming back to that and putting the windows back in and like replacing your carpet and stuff.
I mean, maybe, but that would still be like a lot of repairs to do every single year, and that sounds, I don't know. I'd have to actually see the type of home you're talking about, and also read studies to see what homes are the most impervious to
Well, I'm
hurricanes.
just sick of just like the and this is what bothers me. There's so many. Hurricanes are becoming like mass shootings where you hear the same dumb shit over and over. And my favorite storm natural disaster dumb shit is like, "We will rebuild. This will not stop us. We will come back stronger." And I'm like, you won't come back stronger, that's for sure. But also maybe don't build here again because it's not a triumph of the human spirit to build a fucking house that's been flooded out 3 times. Change the design of the house, fucking assholes. Yeah. Like, I hate that, Like, it's not like going to the moon, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a celebration of, like, human will and endeavor. It's just dumb.
Yeah. So speaking of hurricanes being as common as mass shootings, there is one other mass shooting I want to bring up that happened this past week. Did the hurricane pick up an ammo factory and just start throwing bullets at a kindergarten festival? Peter, the only thing that can stop a bad hurricane with a gun is a good hurricane with a gun.
If only we had armed more hurricanes, we could have stopped that one.
Yeah. So the reason this one is significant to me is because it's just the most American thing I've ever heard, right? Like, it's the new America. It is the apple pie of today. So there were 7 deaths in Odessa, Texas, 21 shooting victims, 3 police shot. That's the last time I heard it. I eventually stopped looking at updates. One of the victims was Anderson Davis, a 17-month-old little girl who was shot in the face. Her parents started a GoFundMe, which the Muckrakers Twitter account has tweeted out for anyone interested. You can find it at those Muckrakers on Twitter.
But she survived?
Yes, she survived. She's in the hospital, and her parents need money to help keep her alive. They've raised, I think, $100,000 or more at this point. But I wanted to take a moment to reflect upon the fact that right now we're looking at a situation where we need money to get help for a gunshot victim. And that is the most American thing I've ever heard. A horrid healthcare system mixed with the blood god NRA's dirty work.
Yeah, basically, like, we're like, hey, we need some donations to get this baby's face fixed. Like, you mean babies don't just get their faces fixed for free in your country? The hell's wrong with you guys?
Yeah, and it was only shot because the NRA is trying to maximize gun sales and make it as easy as possible. Just to sell as many guns as possible. That's all they do. They are shills for arms manufacturers. They are lobbyists. They are a front. They might have started as something good 40 years ago, but nowadays they just have a lot of brainwashed members that keep paying in to something based on a very loose narrative.
Have you ever thought about possibly banning long guns? Long guns. Maybe bazookas.
So maybe we can... And
here's
Texas also AR-15, by the way. But.
Here's the problem with the NRA. Reasonable gun owners don't have an alternative organization. So if somebody out there was to get a grassroots movement going of starting an alternative to the NRA that promotes reasonable gun ownership for sports and defense and hunting, I think you would see the NRA. They're already bleeding, but I think you would see them bleed even more members.
People have tried. There's a thing in business called critical mass, where once a business has reached past a certain point, it is virtually impossible for any competitor to ever surpass them. It's like how, Ask Jeeves and Yahoo and Google all used to be on the same playing field, but nowadays Google is so far beyond them that we couldn't fathom Yahoo ever catching up to Google again, right? That's not possible. A new search, like Bing, can't just come out and be the next Google.
That's why the government's supposed to enact antitrust laws to keep monopolies from forming, which they're finally looking into Google and Facebook. And I'm like, so you're just now figuring out that these companies are monopolies, you fucking assholes.
Right. So once a business is that big, then not only do they have such incredible name brand recognition, everyone's talking about them, they're the most likely to get new people using them, but also they can pay tremendous amounts of money to crush the competition. If the competition ever begins to get a leg up, they can do something to them to stop them. And that brings us back to the NRA. The NRA is so big that anyone that tries to start like a smart alternative, the NRA can just spread propaganda about them, can spread dirt, do whatever, and squash them.
Right, but if we name ourselves like the NRA, but like the A is actually something else that looks like an A, like, so all their propaganda would be like self-destroying because it would look like someone was spreading propaganda about the NRA.
I mean, there's different laws in place about that they could get us with.
They could try, but we could just keep opening organization after organization, unless
they're successful with the lawsuits, they could keep us tied up in court forever.
Yeah, that's only if you show up to court. You know what I mean?
I mean,
court only works.
Just...
Court only works if you go.
I mean, Trump actually proved that, by the way. That's why he's currently in the middle of like over 4,000 lawsuits before becoming president.
Yeah.
Because he keeps stiffing contractors, but no one can successfully sue him because there's such a backlog of people that he owes money to, and he always drags out every case, so he gets to keep stiffing contractors forever. He's a major, major criminal.
Yeah,
I don't think people are fully aware of what a criminal he is.
We use the Trump method to get the NRA to try to take us to court, but our name is so similar to the NRA that anytime they try to slander us, they slander themselves, and then we tie them up in court forever, and then they're destroyed as an organization. It's great.
Maybe. But we would need a small loan of $250 million from our fathers to get started with the Trump method.
Yeah, that's the only thing. And my dad's not giving me any money because he died a long time ago. And I didn't even know. This is probably the biggest thing I regret about my father's death at the time. I did not think about organ sales. Probably could have got a nice inheritance by selling his organs. Then again, maybe not.
$1 million.
He did have cancer. I don't know if anybody wants cancer organs.
Some of them might have been okay. Though, how creepy do you think it would be for the organ buyer in the black market if like a 10-year-old showed up with a corpse behind him saying, how much for this?
Well, it's funny you talk about like digging through organs like you're looking for fresh fruit at Walmart. Did we talk about my favorite Mexican singer was dying of liver cancer? Did we talk about Vicente Fernandez?
And then the organ buyer would be like, "Give me the body," and he pulls a knife, and little kid Peter would be like, "Show me a gun." But
Well-
no, you haven't mentioned the singer.
So Vicente Fernandez has liver cancer and it's going to kill him. And they were like, "You need to get a liver transplant." And he this is what he said. He was like, "I don't want one because how do I know that it's not a gay liver?"
Well, I
Like-
think he deserves to die then.
Well, that was my thing. I go, that's really horrible. That's very bigoted. But also, you know what? If you hate gay people so much, you're willing to die of liver cancer. Maybe you're gay, and maybe I'm okay with that. It's like, good, you took your stand, and it's going to kill you and only you.
You know, I can, in some strange, twisted way, I can almost respect that because his decision only affects him in this case, and
Right.
anyone that cares about him. But yeah,
It would be like if I was if I was wounded and they rushed me in the emergency room, and I was like, "No, don't fix me. I don't want a black doctor." And then I just and that decision just killed me and only me because of my racism. Yeah, there's almost like a weird. It's fucked up, but there's almost like a weird respect for it. Like, well, I mean, I guess it killed you, and then also you won't be able to spread these ideas anymore. So I guess good on you.
yep.
But also, couldn't he just request that they ask the liver person if they were gay? I mean, is there a glut of gay livers? It's like there's no alternative. Like the only match
think-
is a gay man.
I think, if he's just pulling organs from a pool, they might all be anonymously donated or fresh from a car wreck victim or something.
But nobody around him because he's a really famous singer. And he's kind of old. No one around him.
You mean he could ask his fans and stuff? It's could any non-gay livers step forward?
He could, or could anybody or his handlers go, "Oh yeah, we verified that it's definitely not from a gay person," because that's not something he could prove or disprove. So all he needs, I think, would be to be reassured, right? Yes, this may
What if-
have someone dress up like a doctor and be like, "I'm a doctor. This liver is certified not gay."
What if a surprising number of his fans are gay, and by the time they're done shuffling through them all to find a not gay one that's willing to give up their liver, it could not be delivered to him in time?
Well, like I said, if you're so afraid of gay people that you don't want a gay
Peter
liver,
never acknowledges my puns.
I don't because I don't think we should. I think we should negotiate with. We should not negotiate with terrorists, and we should not acknowledge your puns.
I see how it is.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So Vicente Fernandez, good on you. At least you're willing to slowly die of cancer from your principles.
Yeah, I mean, all right. He should probably get on changing his mind if he wants to, though, because doesn't the liver spread spread cancer out super fast?
Also, and I'm pretty sure there's a very small get your liver here window because of the way the donor thing works.
Yeah, and also
they're not-
because of how fast that's going to kill him.
Yeah, they're not just keeping that liver in the refrigerator. You want it yet? Okay, well, we'll put it in the fridge in case you do.
Okay, it's right here in the Tupperware container.
Because I think as soon as someone is just I don't know, they're all right, on to the next match because it's a very perishable thing and people really need them.
One of these days, we're going to have 3D printed organs. And back when I was still a smoker, that's what I was banking on to stay alive, is that I could live just long enough to have new lungs 3D printed and then inserted into myself. But I don't think this guy's going to make it long enough for organic 3D printing to be a thing.
Yeah, well, I'm banking on my fitness regimen getting me in good enough shape and my eating regimen getting me in good enough shape that'll just... that I think what'll happen is I'll get in really good shape and then I'll get some kind of really bad illness. And the only reason that I'll live is because I was in really good shape, but the illness will cancel out my fitness and it'll put me right back to my pre-fit stage.
Oh, no. And then you'll have to do it all again.
Yeah, so I'll be I'm in super shape, and then I'm gotta learn to walk again, but I'm not dead. I'm God damn it.
Yep.
Well, that's as they say, I guess. That's the show. That's the way the long gun crumbles. Bazooka.
Bazooka.
Pat, you want to hit him with the socials?
I do. So you can find us at Those Muckrakers on Twitter, where I don't know if the GoFundMe is still going on right now, but Anderson Davis, the 17-month-old little girl who was shot in the face, that's still posted there if you want to see that, as well as like a nice long rant about AR-15s and a bunch of other stuff. We've been tweeting out a surprising number of viral tweets lately, so that's been fun.
30 to 50 wild hogs.
I finally got to where I stopped responding to everyone that responded to the viral tweets, like just because that became exhausting.
Yeah,
like,
you're doing it wrong.
The first few times it happened, it was like, that was amazing. I'll argue with these people. I'll talk to them. Nowadays, it's like, no, screw it. Let people talk among themselves. I'm good.
Yeah, if you're tweeting and it's going viral, yeah, you don't talk to those people. What are you doing? That's crazy.
I mean, it was fascinating at first, but now it's just like, whatever. What else? You can write in your own Dear Amy's to us, which will become our Dear Wesleys, where you can tell us all about your relationship problems and family problems, and tell us about like your significant other's family and how you get along with them. At thosemuckrakers@gmail.com. Write us in your stories. We'll read them on the air and give you life advice, which you probably should not follow.
Additionally, we have book one of our book series that has just come out on Amazon. You can find that by going to Amazon and looking up the title of the first one, Give Me Back My Life, book one in the Dusk Belt series by W.P. Thrift. On Amazon. You can get it on Kindle, or you can get it on physical. I just actually got the physical copy myself the other day, and it's actually way nicer than I thought it would be. So buy our books so we can do this all the time.
If you buy enough of our books, then I'll tell you what, if you, the listening audience, buy so many of our books that we can do this for a living, we'll do 2 episodes a week.
I'll do it naked.
We'll do 2 naked episodes a week.
I'll do this
be super awkward whenever we do like the 100th episode special and we're like in the same room having to like record naked.
I'll do this podcast naked while holding a long gun. My penis.
A long gun bazooka.
Bazookas are killing. Long guns. Bazookas.
And also, the demand for the book will also give us great energy to get the second one out, which should be out in, October?
I think so. I'm just super happy out of everything. I don't know if anybody's bought the book, but I do know that you said that your mother read it, and you've been writing for 30 years, and your mother has thought the writing thing is just a phase for 30 years. So just the fact that we got her to be like, it was a good book, but the ending was a downer, I'm like, man, all right, I feel confident now. If your hateful mom likes our book, then everyone else should be a shoo-in.
I know, right? It's the strangest thing ever. I've written so many books, and I have gotten a lot of people to read them, right? I've had professors read them, and I had one literary professor. She read it. What was her name? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. And she came back to me and said, oh, this book is so good that I'm shaking. I can't wait to see this thing published. That was Everyone's Legend, by the way, which is also available on Amazon Kindle. If y'all look up Everyone's Legend, it's the first one in the series. There's a bunch more that I put out there, but those are all just books I threw out there. Y'all buy it, don't buy it, I don't care. The one I want you to buy is Dusk Belt, Give Me Back My Life. That's Dusk Belt Book 1 on Amazon. Buy it in buy the physical copy, and you can get the Kindle copy for $0.25. That's like a special that pops up whenever you buy it.
I always hate people that advertise in their podcast, but now I have something to advertise, and I'm like, I've become what I hate.
I believe that it's always okay to advertise at the very end of your podcast, right? Like this is where it's okay to shill after all the stuff is done.
Yeah, well, everyone else always just like they started putting it in the middle because I guess people like me just hear the end of the podcast and then just like cut it off because they don't want to hear the ads.
Yeah. I mean, if we really wanted to be cheeky about it, we'd have we'd do a teaser at the start of the podcast, and then within the first 5 minutes, pitch our book, and then like also in the middle, then throw it in again at the end.
Yep.
But whenever we get like a Squarespace sponsorship or something, we might have to do that. But
we'll buy our stuff, follow our things, listen to our next episode.
Buy our stuff and don't use Squarespace until they give us a deal.
Yeah. Long gun.
Long bazooka gun.
Ricky Tikki Tavi.
Do you have a bazooka? I have to see a knife.
The sound the bazookas made was Ricky Tikki Tavi.
Ricky Tappy Ticky. Ticky Tappy Took.